Hey everybody, Coach Polly here. Today I'd like to share with you one universal law of energy and also one practice that will change your life if you allow it to. So there is a universal law that says energy follows thought. So what does that mean? That means that everything we think draws energy to it. Everything in the material world on the physical plane was once a thought, everything. Science shows us now that how we think literally creates the cellular structure in the body. This has profound ramifications for our health, physically, our health on all levels, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. Our thoughts are powerful, and we can learn to use them for the good, or we can use them in a way that's not so beneficial. So, that brings me to the practice that I want to share with you. And the practice is called ahimsa. It is the first yama in the philosophy of yoga, and it is translated as non-harming or non-violence, the practice of non-violence or non-harming. So we ask ourselves, what does this practice require of us? What does this practice ask us to do? Well, the obvious answer would be something like, most likely, we shouldn't go out and buy a gun and blow our brains out or blow our neighbor's brains out. But the practice is much more subtle and much more profound than that. This practice asks us to look at our thoughts, our words, our actions, and to refrain from any thoughts, words, or actions that are harmful or violent or negative or self-limiting or self-defeating. So this practice asks of us to develop a little gatekeeper in our mind so that whenever the negative thoughts arise, such as, oh, I'm too old, I can't do that. It'll never work. I don't know the right people. I don't know enough people. I don't have the right connections. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. All of those excuses, all of those negative, self-limiting, self-defeating thoughts, whenever they arise in the mind, we've got to have this little gatekeeper that says, I'm sorry, you are no longer welcome here. I'm only going to entertain thoughts that are congruent with the truth of my essential, authentic self. And your soul, your essential, authentic self, is limitless. It's free, it's carefree, it's infinite, it's expansive, and it is the source of all possibility. So, anytime, and hopefully every time, one of those self-limiting, self-defeating, or violent thoughts come up in your mind, you want to say stop. You want to take a couple of nice, deep, full breaths in and out. You want to draw your awareness inward and feel the true self that is powerful. Okay? So the other aspect of this practice on an emotional, psychological, mental, and spiritual level is practicing unconditional love, first for ourselves and then for others. So, what's that? What is unconditional love? Well, one way to think about it is that it is accepting ourselves and our life and everything in the externals of our life just as they are in this moment with loving kindness and gentleness, knowing and trusting that there is an intelligence to the universe working through us, and trusting that we are exactly where we're supposed to be in this moment. That we are learning what we're supposed to be learning, that we are evolving as we're supposed to be evolving. And trusting that that is so, that allows us to be gentle with ourselves, kind to ourselves, loving to ourselves, forgiving with ourselves. So, apparently, as lore has it, as the story goes, one day, the Buddha was speaking on the practice of unconditional love. And after the lecture, one of his student monks came up afterwards to speak to him, and he said to the Buddha, "This is ridiculous. Who could do this? Nobody can love themselves unconditionally. It's just much too lofty a goal. Not possible." Well, the Buddha was a very smart man, and he said, if you cannot imagine loving yourself unconditionally, then begin by practicing unconditional friendliness with yourself. Just be a really good friend to yourself. Be the kind of friend to yourself that you are to your best friend. Be gentle, kind, caring, forgiving. Just practice unconditional friendliness towards yourself every day. And he said over time, that will develop into what we call unconditional regard or unconditional respect for yourself. It's a deeper level of appreciation for ourselves. And if we learn to practice unconditional regard, unconditional respect for ourselves, over time that will develop into unconditional love, gentleness, kindness, unconditional love for ourselves. And then when we get there, then we can begin to practice that for everyone else that we come into contact with, for everyone else in the world. And this is what the world badly needs right now. I don't have to tell you how much disharmony, how much discord, how much anger and frustration people have with each other, how much there's a lack of patience with others, because there's all this blaming, this pointing of fingers, this thinking about the other. There is no other. We are all the same. We all have the same needs, the same wants. Swami Rama used to say about all the billions and trillions of people on the earth that they were like the little tiny waves in the ocean, right? All the little waves in the ocean are made of the same substance. They're all water, but they each have their own individual little rhythm. And in the same way, human beings, we're all made of the same substance. We all have a body, a mind, a spirit, and we are truly all connected. This is one of the great teachings, one of the great truths of the yoga philosophy. We are all connected. Human beings, we're connected to the environment around us, Mother Earth. We're connected to the animals and the plants. Think about that. We are literally connected to every other human being on the earth. We literally breathe each other's breath. Yeah, that's a pretty profound thought. And if indeed this is true, that we are connected to each other, then why would we not practice unconditional love for others? Why would we not practice gentleness and patience, loving kindness and compassion for others? Why would we not choose to make the most generous assumption about every other human being? Something else about this idea of unconditional love is something that Swami Rama often says when he lectures on the practice of ahimsa. Not Swami Rama, Pandit Rajmani Tugunate, the head of the Himalayan Institute. And when he lectures on ahimsa, he says that any complaint that you have about yourself, even the smallest, littlest complaint you have about yourself, is a form of violence that you're practicing on yourself in your own mind. And I believe that to be true. So this practice asks of us not to hold any complaints about ourselves, but to practice contentment with where we are, to practice gratitude for all the gifts and blessings and miracles in our lives, and to do the same for others. Just get rid of the complaints. Be grateful for others. Practice contentment with the relationships you have. Quit thinking about trying to change the other person. Every other human being on the earth is your teacher and my teacher. So, this practice of unconditional love has profound benefits, has a profound impact on your life, on your relationships. But more than that, it has a profound effect on your entire being, your energy field, your health. So I'm a health and wellness coach. And I don't just coach people on fitness and physical exercise or just on nutrition and, clean eating. But I coach people on the deepest levels of their existence, their thinking, their mind, their emotions, their soul. Cultivating and bringing forward the qualities that are inherent in the soul: loving kindness, compassion, joy, equanimity. So that's the video for today. The universal law that says energy follows thought, so we really need to be very careful about what we think, about what thoughts we hold in our mind, about what thoughts we allow to even come into our mind. And then work with this idea of practicing unconditional love for ourselves in every moment, and also unconditional love for others. This can change your life. It can change the world. And I know, yes, that sounds very, sounds pretty, like a pretty bold claim, but it's true. You know yourself. If you've been having a rough day and someone puts a hand on your back, someone says, "Would you like to talk?" Someone says, "I'm sorry." That must be really difficult. When someone cares, when someone's being gentle, when they practice love and compassion, it eases your pain and suffering. It changes your life and it changes theirs because there's a true connection made there. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please click the icon, the thumbs up icon if you liked it. And please post below any questions or thoughts that you'd like to share, or any interaction. I'm really happy to interact with you. So thanks so much. I hope you all have just a wonderful, wonderful day.